is doctrine strengthens unity. Doctrine strengthens unity. Growing up, one of the great pieces of literature that I loved to read were the books, the collections of Calvin and Hobbes, the old comic strip from the newspaper. I still have many of those books, and I still love to read through them. It was about a little boy and his imaginary friend, a stuffed tiger named Hobbes. But Calvin was never the type of boy to stick with any organized sport. Instead, he preferred Calvin ball, a completely made-up sport that he came up with. And the key characteristic of this game is that it had no established rules. Every time he played, it would be played differently. And it was all depending on his own feelings at the times, his own whims, in order for him to win. As you can imagine, this game was really only fun and really only made sense for Calvin. Anybody else would be lost. Anybody else got frustrated and wouldn't stick with this game. Now, if we think about real sports, Packers are playing today, we may argue about the applications of the rules in this game. That wasn't holding, that was just a fine block. That was definitely a catch, or no, that was not a catch. We still agree to the rules of the game in order for this sport to be played to its fullest, to be enjoyed and understanding. And so if we go back to Ephesians chapter 4, we see Paul drawing a clear connection between doctrine, spiritual maturity, and unity among believers. If you look again, we'll start at verse 11 there in Ephesians chapter 4. And he gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds, the teachers, to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for the building up of the body of Christ, until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure and of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Our statements of truth anchor our fellowship with one another. There will always be differences within a church on minor matters of doctrine. Even on the staff, there are some of us that differ in small ways. But it's those small differences that do not unite us. It is not those small differences that divide us. We are focused and unified on the greater emphasis on the essential doctrines, the essential statements of truth.